Okay, I just wanted to say the reason why we are doing this is for the news for people that don't like the news, because the news is shit and no one's like, it's too biased and that. We're quite biased, but the newspapers are even more biased. So
yeah, so we like to argue against.
So again, we evened it up today because we've done the Sun and the Times. So on the Times front page, obviously this is a sad thing, but she did like doing her smack. So
you can tell by looking at her.
Drones will soon fly skies, says Air Chief. That's the pictures that we see in the Sun, isn't it? There's no pictures on this. You just have to read about it.
Yeah,
but we won't read about that.
Next week we'll have the drones over there.
We'll read about this. Look, number 10.6 emergency curb on immigration. Cameron promised game-changing new policy. David Cameron is considering demanding that Britain be given an emergency break on number of European job seekers after promising MPs a game-changing new immigration policy. The Prime Minister has so far said that he only wants to curb benefit tourism, extend blocks on migration from newly joined EU countries under increasing pressure from UKIP's poll surge. See, it's because he's only done it because people have voted for UKIP and he's thought, oh, I've got to do something. So he's done something. People should vote.
Yeah.
Even if you go in there and
you should have opened your eyes ages ago.
Make your own box up. Just draw a little thing under it and just draw a little box going, no vote. At least you voted. Like, do that.
I don't vote, but
like, go in there.
tells me I should.
I like to go in there and just do it Russell Brand. Vote for him.
The truths.
Yeah, vote for him.
Religion? That's not religion, is it?
Can you recognise this picture? No.
I thought it was Jesus at first.
Instant thing. Art history. Do you recognise this picture? Answer. This is the first question we ask history of art candidates in interviews when they are shown images of artwork such as this one, and it is the only question for which there is a single correct answer, which is no. I got it right! Yeah, I didn't know what it was. But if the answer happens to be yes, we pull out another image to show the candidate. However, the point isn't a quiz candidate on what they may or may not have stumbled across in a book, online or in a gallery. Instead, we want our candidates, many of whom have never studied art history, to show us how they would begin to approach an image that they have not encountered previously.
Oh, so
we are less interested in hearing a correct answer than it's seeing the thought process the candidate goes through trying to analyse something he or she has never seen before. That's a good little test. And
they're just seeing if they're lying. It's just a random thing. They might have drawn it or something.
This is obviously for art candidates to go to Oxford, which is classed as one of the highest establishments for education in the world, pretty much. So that's how they interview people to get through art things. That
clearly we didn't make it there. We wouldn't be sitting in our little tent doing this.
Hey, look, we've got a house somewhere.
We've got a house over there.
We just like sitting in here, alright? It's not that bad. It's a bit cold. It's cold and hot. It's hot and cold. He's got a coat on, so that's why he's hot.
But I'll be hot in a minute and I'll take it off.
Cameron chooses who gets top Whitehall jobs. Oh, I don't like that because I thought...
Jack Whitehall?
No. Whitehall as in the Parliament thing, but surely that should be down to the common people. They should have a vote on it or a referendum or something, not Cameron. David Cameron is to pick who gets the biggest jobs at Whitehall amid fears that the move marks a further step towards the politicisation of civil service.
Why don't we just let the Queen pick?
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. That's really... That's not a bad shout.
She's the most fair.
Following a battle lasting more than 2 years, Whitehall have capitulated to growing demands that ministers for increasing influence in appointing the permanent secretary to head their department. Yeah, I just think we need to vote on it, really. It's again, alright, I'm not going to read it. I reckon the names that he mentions is going to be a Sir or a Lord, which means they've been knighted by the Queen. Yesterday, Sir David Normington, the first Civil Service Commissioner he's been appointed by the Queen. Well, he's not appointed.
This is why she should pick the people.
You're noble. Is there anyone else in here that's got a Sir or a Lord? No. No, it's just...
Oh yes, Sir David again.
No, it's the same bloke.
Same guy.
Oh no, Sir Bob. There's a Sir Bob here.
Sir Bob Kerslake.
What's he then?
Kerslake.
He's a local government. Sir Bob, they're incumbent. The former head of the service, so he used to do the job, is due to leave at the end of the year. There are likely to be many more job changes after the general election, but surely the people that are doing the general election, we should vote for that. People in charge. Why should people in charge get to choose who's else in charge? I'll interview some people. Recovery bring fall to unemployment. Okay. Unemployment fell over the past... Right, let's see if these figures are different to the one that's in the Sun, because that would be interesting. The number of people in work hit a new high of 30.76 million, so that's just over half the population, just under half the population of the UK, and obviously that's not very much children in that. And the portion of those without a job fell to 6%, the lowest level in almost 6 years. For the first time since the recession struck in 2008, the number of people without work fell below 2 million.
That's because most people just can't be bothered to
The-
go to work and work for
There
this
we go. The
minimum
figures
wage.
for Office for National Statistics underline the strength of Britain's labour market. A year ago, the unemployment rate was 7.7%, and the Bank of England predicted that it would not fall below 7 until 2016. Well, you got it wrong, mate.
It's close.
It's close, but not close enough.
Yeah.
Fear that unemployment will continue to drive the improvement also dispelled. The number of people in self-employment fell by 76,000. That's obviously because when you're self-employed, it's a lot harder to get work from small businesses and
Let's have a look at
stuff.
this. Something about ISIS.
Oh yeah,
Fighting ISIS can be just, whatever that means.
it means they can justify for going in there to
Yeah,
bombing
of
local
course.
people and children.
The use of military force by Britain and its allies against the Islamic State may be justified, but only as part of a global effort to create a fairer world, according to the Archbishop of Canterbury. Reverend Justin Welby said the challenge posted by jihadist groups in Iraq and Syria must not be oversimplified as a religious conflict or a war on terror.
So, but what's fair about bombing innocent people and that?
Nothing.
And then
You can claim that-
beheading journalists and things like that. Like that's not fair, mate. And you
That's
think
not
that as
fair at
fair? Who's like give you a bung or something, say something like that? And you're meant to be a religious like figure who's meant to be like not left or right. You're meant to be in the middle, a bit like the Queen. She's not allowed to be left or right. She
I
hasn't
think
said
they're
like
just-
sending the boys, has she?
I think they're just uneducated. Maybe Obama should send that money for education, not fucking whatever it's called.
War.
Yeah, war. So, I'm not gonna...
Climate change lobby has African blood on its hands. Why is that? That film star. Who's the film star?
Leonardo DiCaprio,
Where? Go on.
who campaigned to reduce consumption of fossil fuels, are consigning millions of Africans to a life of poverty. Well, that's not really fair, just because you've got loads of money.
Yeah, but his missus adopts little Africans, so that's alright.
Yeah.
Innit? She does. She's got, how many
Yeah,
she
he's
got now?
cancelled
2
it
or
out.
3?
That's why they've used his name.
Yeah, he's probably
for this,
allowed
just
to...
for this argument.
That's mad. So what they're saying is, because like carbon emissions so high, and Africa's now a developed country, they're going to try and stop them having cars and stuff, because that will increase the global emission. So we're going to like be unfair to Africans now, because they're like 20 or 30 years behind us. Now they can afford cars. They're not going to let them run them. That's just stupid. Maybe we should have electric cars and give them all our old cars, and then they start recycling. It's not a bad idea, I suppose, is it? Jeez.
No.
Recycle our old cars, send them all to Africa. We get electric ones.
Just like they recycled this sheep's fur for our woolly jumpers.
Is that Dolly?
Yeah, they're all lining up especially just for their haircut. And then just underneath it, it's ban smoking on beaches, surfers plead.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
So now they want to smoke it in parks, public places,
And they can't smoke on a beach.
beaches.
Where can you
Where's
smoke?
it? Yeah, where's it going to be now? It's just sitting on your fucking sofa
Or in your tent.
or in your tent. Yeah.
Because
See,
you're not allowed
we're-
to smoke
we're
indoors.
prepared.
There'd be loads of little tents, but you're not allowed to congregate in areas because Boris doesn't want communities to get together and have a little chat about things. So you're not allowed to. You have to do it. Everyone has to have a tent each. Then you'd be
Yeah.
allowed to do it because you're not allowed talking to no one. Maybe smoking like a bike rack. You know where you go put your bike in. You just have a
Yeah.
little chamber like a phone box.
No,
and
you're
you
not allowed
just
to
go and
smoke
have your
there.
cigarette.
You're not allowed
Like,
to smoke there.
you have to put 50p in to go and stand in there to smoke. That's not a bad idea. It could be that way.
What about this one? A terror attack. Suspect told his wife, "I won't be around long."
Why?
A law
Suicide
student
bomber.
suspected of planning a terrorist attack on Tony Blair told his wife he was not going to be around long. The Old Bailey heard yesterday. Enroll Instadal's conversations with his wife
Very
and his
English name.
friends, yeah, very English, were recorded by a listening device planted in his Mercedes when he was stopped by police in London on September 30th last year.
They're not allowed to do that, which means he'll probably get off of that. Unless
Yeah,
they've changed the
they'll
laws
sue
and say
them.
because it's terrorists, you're like,
Maybe. And then underneath that, woman arrested over alleged gun plot.
what? Woman doing a gun?
Yeah.
Remember on the chat stuff with that woman pulled one out of her and then like, oh, she didn't
I
do
watched
that.
that episode.
Yeah, but she do that.
I don't know, we'll read it. Counter-terror officers arrested a 19-year-old woman in East London yesterday on suspicion of supplying a firearm in relation to a suspected plot to carry out gun attack in the capital. So someone got shot and this 19-year-old's, it's probably her boyfriend, he's probably, look after this.
Supplying
the police
arms.
won't get you.
Yeah, because you're a female. I thought you can get away with it.
Yeah.
'Cause you
But
don't
they
look like
do
you
have
look.
female police officers that can search females these days, you know.
Yes, they do. What's this?
Oh, rainforest vanish, migrating birds are doomed to disappear.
That's bad, isn't it? The destruction of Africa's forest is contributing to the catastrophic decline of nightingales and other migratory birds in the UK, according to a report by the RSPB and 7 other conservation. Well, I see a little programme on this, and it could be, maybe, possibly down to the fact that some of these people in Africa actually catch these and eat them because there's not a lot of food around.
They eat dogs as well. Have you seen it? Have you seen the documentary?
But that's Asian people. They generally eat dogs, don't they?
They're bad.
Species that winter in the forest of the humid zone of Africa, including windchats, tree pipits and spotted flycatchers, have declined by 73% since the late 1980s.
They want to catch them drug sniffing flies next. Remember them from yesterday?
Oh yeah. That's mad though, isn't it? Like, and this is in Africa, which Brad Pitt says you're not allowed to have a car in. Right, this is an interesting little article, because I wrote something up about fracking, and they're saying if by cutting down the rainforest, because they don't want to cut down the rainforest anymore, because then... Why don't they want to cut down the rainforest?
Global warming and all that, innit?
Yeah, because it helps the carbon dioxide in the air turn into oxygen and stuff, right? So, like, fracking, which is what they're going to do up north in Cumbria or somewhere, fracking will contribute little to cutting greenhouse gas emissions, despite claims that shale gas is only half as polluting as coal. I know this is bullshit. A study has found, Ben Webster writes, the controversial process which uses high pressure liquid to break up rock is expected to contribute to a doubling or even tripling of a global natural gas production by 2050, right? It's not just water. They get water, stick this chemical in this water and sand and pump it at vast velocity straight down into the ground. It cracks it and it releases gas into the air, which includes methane, which is 17 times higher than like carbon dioxide, which is really bad for the atmosphere, which then melts the what's the North and South Pole called? The ice caps, basically. It just melts the ice cap.
It's got some more Boris in there.
Well, what's Boris?
People know the future doesn't really belong to anti-politicians like Boris.
Did you know Boris went and bought 3 water cannons for the City of London for the summer because he thought there was going to be loads of activists in London. He went to jet people, even though there's a shortage of water in some countries.
Well, and they wonder why we get put on hosepipe bans. Fucking Boris.
Yeah, this is a brilliant statement. Look, always trust wise voters, not the dumb elites. That is brilliant, mate. You've hit the point right on out there. Well done, Tim Montgomery. I'd write to you. Very political activists had a story that would test your belief in democracy. One gentleman I met, Kavessin in Exeter, wanted compulsory euthanasia. No, hang on, what's that saying? Euthanasia, isn't it?
Euthanasia.
Euthanasia for everyone on their 65th birthday. We went to kill everyone on their 65th birthday. You nutter, mate. After my mouth fell open, he offered to compromise and accept a cut off at 70. That's alright, mate. Just don't kill him at 65, kill him at 70. That's alright. My mouth might...
you don't need to do anything at 70, you're retired.
That's ridiculous.
That's when you spend all your money and that.
And he wants to be in power, this geezer. He wants to kill everyone at 70.
It's because that's how we're going to get out of debt. We're going to take all the 70
found that many
money
people think the government spends more on foreign aid than on pensions. In reality, taxpayers spend 10 times as much on pensions. The average voter believes that 24% of the population is Muslim when it's only 5%. So there's a lot of false information there. Like, I also thought that as well.
Lies.
We'll clear up this last one up there. This is teach core British values to combat law of extremism. Schools are urged. Well, they should in schools they should just teach core values anyway. And if core values would be don't be an extremist, clearly it would, wouldn't it? They're gonna say like, come and join us, and we're gonna walk in somewhere and bomb some people. You'd know that anyway. You don't need to teach it. Look, where's this? PM suggests that the proliferation of academies had exuberated the problem of extremists taking over schools as local authorities had no say. Well, I just think they want local authorities to have a say in that, right? Why can't people have, like, locals have a say in who's going to get in at Whitehall instead of David Cameron choosing to say it? So it's like one rule for one to doing one thing and one rule for another. I think, like, local people can stand on boards in schools to say how academies are running that. So what? You're going to say you can't do that now just in case one of them people on that board is an extremist and they don't know and they're trying to get, like, law people in at school. It's ridiculous.
What happened to free country, freedom of speech?
It's about the boat as well that was in the sun. I think we'll wrap this one up. I have enjoyed reading the Times over the Sun review. Like,
yeah, I haven't seen quite as many adverts.
I know, the next page, big 2-page spread. That's probably why it is a little bit thicker. Another like Shell advert, Empower. It's all to do with like energy and that. And a lot of this is about arts and like being an artist, dancing. This might be lying less than the Sun, so
it might be lying more.
Anyway, we're
You
going
never
to
know.
wrap this one up. We'll probably bring you another newspaper tomorrow. I'm not sure what one, but we probably won't stick to the idea of having 2 newspapers. It's a little bit too much.
It probably
but
won't be something like
I didn't want
Sun
to just
again.
get the Sun because I didn't want to dumb this completely down because the Times is quite a good thing. So subscribe down there and we'll
Like,
see you
comment.
tomorrow.
So yeah, see you tomorrow.
Take it easy.
I interrupt this news broadcast to bring you an important message. Has anybody seen Johnny Wilkinson's new photo? Has anyone seen how feminine he looks with that pose and how silly his face is? Check it out on the back of the Times.
Sorry about this, YouTube. I just wanted to talk about the Times and they wouldn't ruin it. I need to say anything or something like that and anything else. I would like to talk about sport because sport is my main issue. I don't believe that this man looks like a girl because he's a national treasure. He won us the World Cup, like doing that nice little kick.